What's going on, you beautiful bastards? It's RM Punk here with the Punk Wrestling Podcast, and this is my one day late Smackdown review. Apologies for that. Wasn't feeling 100% yesterday. Ended up just playing games for most of the day. I did watch Smackdown, however, and do my notes, so we should be okay. My original first thoughts is this is quite a forgettable show, as I've had to read back through my notes quite a bit to remember any of it. There were some good bits, there were some bad bits. We'll go into it all today. But first, give the video a like, hit that subscribe button if you like what I'm doing, and please share it amongst your friends, share it on Twitter, do the thing, follow me at RM Punk Podcast on Twitter, and let's get into it, shall we? So we get a recap to get us going of how we ended up with the Triple Threat main event. No surprises there. And Edge kicks us off. Again, no surprises there. And he cuts a promo, and basically that he should have known what happened, what was going to happen. However, that, you know, he was naive. Daniel Bryan is just roadkill on his way to WrestleMania, and he thought that Daniel Bryan would understand the journey that Edge is on to get the title back, coming back from retirement, all this. But he was so focused on Roman Reigns, he didn't see Daniel Bryan coming, but he should have. As the ultimate opportunist, he should have seen it, and he got outplayed by Daniel Bryan here. But he has to thank Daniel. He's reflected, and he's looked in the mirror, and he likes what he sees. He finally has seen the R-rated superstar, and they don't understand the ramifications of what they've done by bringing the R-rated superstar out. He is awake. He is the man that they aspire to be. He is a Hall of Fame legend and the rated R superstar. And he says it was so good to smash them with chairs, and he won't hesitate next time to concerto both of them. This was a decent promo. The Edge is back. Edge has some edge to him again. It's nice. There was a backstage segment after the break, and Edge sort of got interviewed and says, you know, he was asked, he didn't address the street fight tonight with Daniel Bryan and Jey Uso. He basically said he doesn't care if Daniel gets beaten senseless or misses Mania. There was really no need for this interview. It was fairly obvious. It was just sort of, you know, let's talk about the main event, shall we? It was needless. So we get Gable and Otis in the ring. Gable is saying how he has turned Otis into a force of nature. Fair dues. He has unleashed the inner alpha. They're peaking at just the right time. Next week they will win the tag team championships, and when they do it, they will do it for the Academy. That is an odd catchphrase. For the Academy. I don't know. Like, I like Otis and I like Gable, but it was an odd catchphrase for me. Let me know what you think. So, next out is the Dirty Dogs. I will cut to this shit. They have pushed forward a couple of matches that would have been on Mania to SmackDown next week. The Andre the Battle Royal and the Tag Team title match. That is because they would have been on the pre-show, but they want the first match back with a live crowd on Saturday, the first night of WrestleMania, to be a big match. So they've put the pre-show matches on the night before. So this is technically now the go-home show for WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is now kind of 3 nights. It's a weird situation. But yeah, the Dirty Dogs come out. They cut a little promo, like they have a little picture-in-picture promo. And, you know, they start talking about it being WrestleMania season and their WrestleMania moments and this, that, and the other. And it's on SmackDown. But all right. And Mysterios and Street Profits come out as well. They are tagging together for an 8-man tag against the Dirty Dogs and Alpha Academy. This is a fun little match. You know, it's an 8-man tag match on SmackDown. It was good. In the end, Otis wins with a second rope splash. Nice. Okay. Paul Heyman is with Adam and Sonya. Adam Pearce, that is. And Heyman directs all his conversation to Sonya. Interesting. They seem to be going back to this sort of power dynamic between Sonya and Adam, and Heyman, you know, is on Sonya's side and thinks Sonya's got the real power, kind of thing. Interesting. We'll see where we go with that. But yeah, he says that Reigns wants a hold harmless agreement for Jey Uso, for the street fight, to prevent any issues that might occur by him injuring Daniel Bryan, any costs, anything like that. Like, he can't get in trouble if he injures Daniel Bryan. Adam starts to talk to me like, well, of course you would want this, blah, 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 blah. And Sonya interrupts and says it's a good idea. And they carry on. So that's done. The hold harmless agreement's in place. Seth comes out in a lovely suit, as always. And we get a recap of last week's swings. And this is a in-ring interview with Seth Rollins, Cesaro by Corey Graves. All very well dressed, by the way. Corey brings up this is Cesaro's first singles WrestleMania match. And Cesaro says he can't fail and he won't fail. And swing is in the air. So that was nice. And he then asks Seth, is the swing, all this stuff, like you've been embarrassed, is this a blemish on your career? And Seth says, you can't shake me. It's WrestleMania season. And he talks about all his great WrestleMania moments, comparing them to Rock Austin, comparing him to The Undertaker, comparing him to Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, all those things. He's comparing them against his moments and how his are great and better. Fair enough. Cesaro then speaks again and he says he knows he can beat and embarrass Seth at WrestleMania, and Seth may be unshakable, but he is not unswingable. A nice line there again. And Seth then comes back and says there's levels to this game. I'm up here, you're down here. And he'll beat you so bad that you won't have your potential to fall back on anymore. And he starts going, I'm not going to wait till WrestleMania to end you. And Cesaro says, go on, take a swing. They stare down and Seth backs up. This was decent stuff. A decent little promo. I'm excited for this match. Next up, we have Shayna versus Natalya. Nia's on commentary. Reggie's also about. And Tamina is at ringside. This was not a match. They really didn't get into it. They just sort of put themselves in pin combinations and Natty wins. Then Nia and Shayna beat them, like Natty and Tamina down. The Riot Squad then attack them. Shayna gets the upper hand. Then Mandy and Dana Brooke from Raw come out. Then Lana and Naomi from Raw come out. With Natty and Tamina standing tall with a heart attack to end. Okay. Carmella's looking backstage. Billie Kay approaches her with a resume. And she gets shooed originally, but calls back and she takes the resume. Looks like we're having a big multi-woman tag team match at Mania. The match wasn't a match, and there wasn't really anything great to talk about here. It's just a setup that there's going to be these women, and maybe Carmella might team with Billie Kay as another tag team. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Right, we're getting to it. Okay, Sammy's in his tux. He's on a little red carpet as the limo approaches, and out comes Logan Paul. They sort of chat as we go to break before we get to the main segment. So I'll get to the point of this. Like, I'm not a fan of Logan Paul. I can understand why he would be he'd be invited to come to TV. He has a lot of followers, a hell lot more than me. Only like 23 million more than me. But yeah, I understand how it would be useful for business. But I'm not personally a fan. And that's fine. I'm not personally a fan of Bad Bunny, but I can see the respect that Bad Bunny's put into this, and he's in with The Miz, which makes sense. Miz and celebrity matches just make sense. I don't really need Logan Paul in the middle of a Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn feud, which is like my kind of feud. I'm like, oh, I'd really love to see Sami and Kevin just go at it. I don't need Logan Paul in there for me, but I can understand why. So if I come across as negative to this, it's just because it just doesn't, like, it feels like needless extras on top of what would be a great feud and great match without it. So we get the red carpet premiere time, and we get the trailer of his documentary. He brings out Logan Paul. Sammy does some TikTok dancing, which is very memeable and is all over Twitter. And he says to Logan Paul, thanks for standing against the oppressed. Your followers will now realise that this isn't just a conspiracy theory, it is a conspiracy. Logan thanks for the invite. And Sammy invites him to WrestleMania, and Logan Paul accepts. Well, that'll be interesting how that one goes. We get the trailer. It's it's just cuts of Sammy saying, you're doing this to me, you're doing this to me, mixed in with him cheating and the ref catching him cheating. And then there's a bit about Flat Earth mentioned, which, Logan Paul doesn't look that impressed. He's asked for thoughts, and he's like, there's a lot to take in. But when in the locker room, Kevin told me he's known you for 15 years and there's no conspiracy. You're neurotic and unstable. And Sammy starts going, well, you're my guest. And then he apologises. And he says he knows what KO thinks, but he doesn't care what Kevin thinks. He cares about Logan Paul thinks. Logan Paul starts to say, well, you've put a lot of effort in. We don't know really what he's going to say. But before anything, Kevin Owens hits the stunner on Sammy. And he says he's going to beat some sense into you. You keep talking, you keep going to get stunned. I'm going to keep doing this to you. And as Kevin leaves, he pushes Logan Paul out of the way. Like I said, can we just have a Kevin versus Sammy match? Just like, I don't need him. I don't need Logan Paul in this. Put him in something else. Something that needs the extra pizzazz. Fine. We get a little segment of Edge saying he's going to be on commentary for the street fight later. Kevin Owens is backstage. He's been interviewed. He says he's sending a message that, he's going to go to anyone, that he can stun anyone at any time. Sammy attacks him and is shouting, you ruined everything. Fine, cool, okay. Next we get Carmella versus Bianca Belair. Belair cuts a quick promo before the match on Sasha. Nothing special there. And then during her entrance, she gets attacked by Carmella. So Carmella has the advantage early on, and she does a nice spot where she ties the hair around the bottom rope, tying it in a little knot to deliver some kicks and stomps, which was nice. But that fires Belair up a little bit. She hits the comeback and hits the KOD for the win. Sasha attacks Belair after the bell, but kind of Belair sort of sees it coming, doesn't really flinch that much, and sort of says, no, not now, WrestleMania, and points at the sign. And Sasha's like, all right, yep, cool. I don't get that bit. But it was fine. It was an okay match. Like I said, I really liked the hair spot. Like it's been a while since they teased Belair doing the whip with the hair, but she didn't. She faked it out. But yeah, let's get that stuff back in there. We get a quick Baron Corbin promo, basically explaining his reasons for going after Drew McIntyre on Raw, saying that he's fed up with the lack of respect he gets on SmackDown. He is the king, he's royalty, people should bow down. He saw Lashley's offer on Raw and realised his time is now. He looked at his watch and his time is now. And he's going to go to Raw on Monday and he's going to destroy Drew, and then he will face Lashley and he will destroy Lashley and be the champion. Yeah, all right, bro. Okay. We get an Apollo Crews promo. So basically, he sets up the match for WrestleMania. It is going to be a Nigerian drum fight. So we do it the right way. At WrestleMania, no rules, just the drums of me beating you, basically, was how it was phrased. It was interesting. I'll be intrigued. It seems like sort of a street fight sort of scenario, probably with some African drums in there, bit of atmosphere. But good. So we get to the main event. Edge is on commentary for Jey Uso versus Daniel Bryan in a street fight. So early on, Edge is sort of saying he's focused on winning at WrestleMania. He also mentions that he doesn't think Jey is main event Jey Uso. He doesn't need Roman Reigns, but Roman Reigns needs him. And Daniel Bryan and Jey are fighting at ringside right by the commentary table quite a lot in this match. So Jey gets the chair, takes Bryan out. He wraps the chair in the leg of Daniel Bryan, goes for a splash onto the leg, but Bryan dodges, hits Jey with a chair. Roman then enters and watches from the stage as we go to break. Back from the break, Bryan is rammed headfirst into a chair that's wrapped in the corner. Jey then gets the chain out of a toolbox. He wraps his hands, punches Daniel Bryan with the chain in the face, and hits a splash for 2. And Edge is like so shocked. He's like, that shouldn't be possible. You shouldn't be able to kick out of that. Jay then argues with Edge when they're fighting ringside again, when he overhears Edge saying he doesn't fear anyone, and Jay's like, you should. Brian hits a suplex off of the steps onto the floor, which was nice. He gets the chair, he's hitting Jay, all while staring down Edge. Back in the ring, he hits the yes kicks, he gets the chair himself, and he wraps his arms like this, sort of around the elbow, around the hand, and then hits those elbows with the chain, which was nice. Hits the yes, gets the yes lock locked in, and causes the tap. Brian then doesn't do any celebrating. He hits the running knee on a sitting Edge and rabs him into the post. He then staring down Roman on the ramp. He starts running up to Roman. Roman throws the office chair that he's sitting in, but Daniel Bryan dodges, hits the running knee, and then he locks in the yes lock. But he locks it in by doing a skull fuck to get him into place to set it up. Nasty. The officials then pull him off, and Brian stands tall, celebrating in a ring with the yes. A very good end to what was a meh, forgettable show, realistically. And seeing as it's 1 week to WrestleMania, a little bit weak in my mind. But it was fine. I hope you enjoyed the show. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you thought of SmackDown. Let me know if you agree with me or disagree with me. I'd love to hear other opinions. As we get through the week, I will try and do as much WrestleMania coverage as I can. However, as I am in the UK, lockdown ends next week and I have to go back to work this Thursday in perfect time for WrestleMania. So what I watch will probably not be live, maybe delays to it, but I will try and get content out there for you and get my take on things. So have a good WrestleMania week, everyone. If you don't know, we've got Raw on Monday, Hall of Fame on Tuesday, Wednesday you've got Night 1 of Stand and Deliver, Night 2 of Stand and Deliver on the Thursday, on Friday you've got SmackDown, on Saturday you've got WrestleMania Night 1, on Sunday you've got WrestleMania Night 2, on Monday you've got Raw, and then on Tuesday you've got NXT debuting on Tuesdays. Well done, guys, well done. This sure looks like it's been a busy week for all of us. But yeah, have a good one. Please like, share and subscribe. A good night.